It's not often that you get to see a major transformation of a whole piece of railroad, but that's what's happening in 2013 on the Florida S Line. I'm up early this Saturday morning to see how it's going. This month, the biggest construction is underway at Baldwin in North Florida. Contractors for CSX are building whole new pieces of railroad. The Callahan sub across the Tallahassee line is being double-tracked to connect with the already double-tracked line out of the south end of Baldwin Yard. The quadrant connections at the Diamond are being re-engineered. The northeast quadrant, pulled out decades ago, is going back in, though with much higher speed turnouts on each end. Rail construction giant R.J. Corman has this contract. Their machines are everywhere around Baldwin right now. On the north end of town, where the line comes in from Callahan, the 4-acre siding is being extended south across the Diamond and through the yard to connect with the existing double-track Wildwood Main. The bike path that crosses here is on the right-of-way of the ex-Jacksonville and Southwestern that ran Jax to Newberry, Florida. The Callahan sub is the ex-Florida Railroad, built after the Civil War to connect Fernandina on the Atlantic with Cedar Key on the Gulf. One of my favorite spots on the Callahan is Briceville, 4 miles north of Baldwin, where I just barely caught K802 on his way north. Crews are working through this weekend and next because they've cut US 90 through town to install new crossings. Where one track crossed Highway 90 before, now there will be at least 3 tracks coming across. The ballast train brings rock right down to the end of the new number 2 track, and the heavy locomotives help tamp things down. On this warm, dry May morning, this is the dustiest job anywhere. Teams are working everywhere around Baldwin. This group is welding together a new turnout, presumably for the main to the yard. In the midst of all this plowed up earth, dust, and confusion, trains are running. K803 came across around 11:50, curiously with just one engine. K803 is the southbound sister of that 802 that we saw earlier at Briceville. The crew working on that turnout barely notice 803's passing. In another hour, Q606, with a fresh crew, gets permission from the road foreman to come through. 606 is New Orleans to Waycross mixed freight. 606 is coming east on the Tallahassee line and is turning north onto the Callahan sub to go to Callahan, Folkestone, and Waycross. In the afternoon, I moved south to Ocala to meet up with some friends at the passenger station. Our timing was pretty good. First up was a northbound K788, light engines. I'm guessing 788 was a power and crew bounce back north to Waycross or Jacksonville. K789 is a loaded Martin Marietta rock train from Augusta, Georgia to Mulberry. This must be the backhaul, just with no haul.
Yeah, thanks, Q74118, got it clear. Ocala, connecting southbound
3:04 p.m., southbound Empty Juice. 3:54 p.m. southbound Q613. Molten sulfur tanks and empty hoppers for the Bone Valley at Mulberry. By this time, some other local rail fans have started to show up. (4:57 p.m.) This is the hallmark of the new S-Line. Double-stacked containers from Duval, Jacksonville for Taft, Orlando via Wildwood and Lakeland. After 177, I began moving southward again, and so did a lively thunderstorm. At Dallas, Florida, Q045 caught up with both me and the rain, and none of us intended to stop. At Wildwood Yard, Q045 slowed down enough for me to lurch out ahead and set up for a ground shot. Those thunderclouds were coming on pretty fast up behind Q045, so I called it a night. Next morning, I'm up with the sunrise as I've gotten word that contractors on the new Vitus siding extension are cutting in crossovers this morning. Fog is fairly heavy in spots, so I'm not flying like usual. The Vitus siding is undergoing an enlargement on both ends. When all finished, Vitus will be nearly 19,000 feet signal to signal with a universal crossover in the middle. The crossovers are the focal point this morning. The contractor has held the main line all night after cutting in new switches yesterday. Trains passed through the siding overnight and are still doing so this morning. At 8:22, Q237, an autorack train out of Louisville, Kentucky, comes into the territory.
CSX phone, Rich, Mr. Cochran, East 290.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Rich.
Yeah, you can come on in past south end about it. Just give me 25 miles per hour at AR 835.2.3 if you would. Over.
Only the crews working on the Messick Road crossing have to move out of the way. Machines operating on the mainline track keep right on. Radio traffic caught my attention to the south. It was Q452 out of Miami. taking the back way this morning through Plant City. The dispatcher could not confirm that the power switches at Sandler Junction were locked, as they must be to clear a train over them. So, in a time-honored maneuver, the train must stop and conductor must manually confirm that the machines are locked. The confirmation complete. 452 is on his way north to Waycross, Georgia. Well, that's my S-Line report for this weekend. At the S822.8, this is Danny Harmon, out.